The Las Vegas Raiders had joint practices against the Los Angeles Rams today, and we have some key updates on some star players coming back, and we also have a brawl, a freaking fight that happened at practice that we have to break down, and it even led to players having to leave the field. We are going to discuss all the reports coming out of training camp today, and take a look at some of the bright spots for the Raiders and some areas of concern. And the big story is Davante freaking Adams is back. He's 100%. Many of us were scared because he went down at practice against the San Francisco 49ers. And then when he was walking around over here, he had something on his calf and he was kind of walking what we thought with maybe a little limp, just not 100%. But it turns out he is good to go. And you even had reports coming out of practice today that he definitely looked 100% fine and he was balling out per usual. And the Raiders pass rush looked great against the San Francisco 49ers, and now they're getting reinforcements back. Tyree Wilson, the number 7 overall pick in the 2023 draft, he is back and off the NFI list and ready to practice for the Raiders. And this is great news because the guy has been rehabbing. We know he injured his foot towards the end of last year. And if he can be back earlier than we realize, then this is really a dangerous defensive line for the Raiders here. You already have Maxx, Crosby, and Chandler Jones, and then the depth of the edge defenders looked quite nice against the San Francisco 49ers. We're still waiting for some key players to step up at defensive tackle. But it's great to see your future edge defender here and ready to go. We could see him now. He could start getting some NFL experience now. There he is, number 9, Tyree Wilson. You'd love to see it. Now, Tyree Wilson was not doing team drills. He was just doing some individual practicing, so hopefully we see him start doing some team stuff this week or next week. But you had Crosby and the rest of the D-line like Plant, Rochelle, and Butler doing quite well against the LA Rams. Unfortunately, even though Tyree Wilson's back, even though Davante Adams is back, Chandler Jones has not been practicing. He missed practice today, and he missed a few days towards the end of last week. So on top of him, you also had Nate Hobbs not at practice, according to The Athletic, and no Dylan Parham. We know Dylan Parham seemed like he got a little shaken up in that preseason game against the San Francisco 49ers. Hopefully these guys can be back soon because that's 3 starters right there. That's your freaking guard, that's your edge defender, and Nate Hobbs. And the Raiders defense was doing nice against the Rams, but it was mainly the depth. You have Stetson Bennett getting frustrated against the Raiders defense, but on the other side, Matthew Stafford had been picking the Raiders DBs apart, especially on the outside. But like we said, the depth was doing nice. You have Sam Webb, the corner, who had that interception against the San Francisco 49ers. Well, he came up with a similar interception against Stetson Bennett and the LA Rams today during practice. And overall, it seemed like it was an offensive, successful day for both sides. That's what Big Taper of The Athletic is saying between the Rams and the Raiders. Jimmy G hit Adams on a couple nice passes. And another key thing, and I have to say this, the Rams defense did not have Aaron Donald, who we know was a beast and would have made a big difference today. But Jimmy G was able to get some nice passes, hit Philip Dorsett on a deep 70-yard touchdown. You'd love to see that. We know we're concerned about the deep ball, and he's doing it. And he actually had a decent 2-minute drill, nothing too crazy. It resulted in a field goal, 5 for 9, couple incomplete passes. He hit Amir Abdullah a few times and was able to hit Austin Hooper, the tight end, along with Jacoby Myers, but a lot of incompletions in a row, which is not that good. Speaking of some receivers, Hunter Renfrow and Michael Mayer are back there at practice traveling with the team, but they're working in the back and they were not on the field today. But at least they are there and it's hopeful that they will be ready soon. And Aiden O'Connell is riding high off his preseason performance, but it was not an amazing day today at practice. He had a lot of drops though, to be fair, and only had 1 completion during 1 drive. A lot of them were knocked down or off target, according to Levi Damien. And the Las Vegas Review-Journal, Vinny B, this guy is always pretty positive about the Raiders, and even he had to say that Raiders look sluggish. The players weren't particularly happy with how they started, and they were not playing up to the standard that they had for themselves. So maybe they all got pumped up after doing pretty well against the Niners, and maybe they got a little overconfident. It is still just practice. You know, you cannot win them all, and it looked like today was just overall a sluggish day. But the big story was what Maxx Crosby had to say about his fight with the running back of the LA Rams, Cam Akers, and what this guy said was absolutely insane.
No shit, I'm just doing what I do. He didn't like that, so, he got what he got. It is what it is.
Maxx said.
He got what he got. So what happened is that Cam Akers lowered his head into Maxx Crosby, who didn't like that, and then swings were thrown. And this wasn't the only thing that happened, but Crosby chased down Cam Akers during an 11-on-11 run play, tried to punch the ball loose, and the play was basically dead, and Akers got heated, punches were thrown, both sides got involved, and it was eventually broken up. And this is something separate than the lowering the head play. And then Cam Akers had to get kicked out of practice. It looks like he bumped Crosby first after the play was already over. Also, Crosby was no longer practicing after that. He was on the sideline for the first team session after the fight. McDaniels called him over and said something to him. He trotted over and it seemed like it was positive, but Crosby just sit there and trotted back and hung out on the sideline during the rest of the practice. But I love the response from Crosby. No regrets, no apologies. Football is a crazy game, and Cam Akers looked like he just got a little too heated. Obviously, Crosby's going to try to punch the ball out. That doesn't mean he's swinging for you. That was the gist of everything that happened at practice. It's great to see that the Raiders got some players healthy, more people coming back. However, there are some concerns with some players who did not participate today. We'll have more updates on the Raiders as they have joint practices against the LA Rams, and then they have the preseason matchup this Saturday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and I cannot wait. My name is WiFiWillie. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.